Numbers are just really fucking small increments. They're easy to order. But then numbers become a language on its own, which becomes just as easily confusing as language and taxonomy and definitions and whatever.
If you flip one bit in the computer wrong, if you just if you just break one transistor, the whole thing won't work. That's an objective fact.
Okay.
You just agree that an objective fact exists.
You're saying if you break one transistor in a computer, the whole thing won't work.
Yeah.
The computer won't work for what?
Anything. It won't turn on.
Okay.
If all my napkins are flying away, will the computer still work to hold them down in the wind?
Post it what?
Well, your computer won't turn on.
Okay, so it won't do the thing that
You
people
bought it
buy
for.
a computer for, unless they bought it to hold their fucking napkins
Which
down.
no one does.
Well, then maybe they're just victims of functional fixedness. I'm just making a point.
No,
I'm
you're
just
not.
I am.
Can you call that a point?
Yeah, I can call it a point. If you're in the computer hotel, and everything that you fucking touch is a computer, including your napkin holder, then your fucking napkin holds your computer. So if your computer doesn't work and doesn't compute, no one gives a fuck because it's your decor. Like steampunk.
That doesn't change the fact that it still doesn't compute anything.
But now you're getting into what's the definition of compute. Well, I'm talking about definitions. I'm going to keep asking you the definition of every single word you use, and this is a problem. It's going to break down to a point where the actual mechanics of taxonomy and naming things and defining things and trying to explain things in some verbal way is not possible.
So
for us, to the degree that would allow us to, be more technologically advanced. It's a language barrier thing. We don't have enough words. We don't have.
We don't need words. We have numbers.
We have a fuck ton of words. We
You
need
don't
words.
need words, you have numbers.
We need words. We need words and numbers.
We don't. Words are much less efficient than numbers. Computers don't use words.
Now, but
computers communicate in bits, ones and zeros. Not even numbers, just ones and zeros. That's the most efficient. But we're not wired for that.
You're just making a case out of context. You're saying we need numbers much more than we need words right now because numbers. Why?
Why is there not enough words?
Julian Assange.
Okay, fine. But now, how did we get to numbers? Do we just start counting things and go,
Maybe. Yeah.
And then what the hell did we call that when we start? Until you have to fucking say enough. How many times till you finally like fuck it 3,000? I'm not just gonna keep going all day.
I don't know.
At some point, you have to get tired of what the fuck you're doing, and say this system isn't working. The system of trying to say how many things there are. Like if you're a caveman, I don't know if this is how they said it, but pretend that the number of things they said, they just went for every single one there was, and let's not even talk about if they're different. Let's just talk about if they're the same thing. And you just have to say for however many fucking bananas are in a goddamn bushel or whatever.
They didn't have the
You're gonna be
capability.
sitting up for a lot of time.
They didn't have the capability to break down what something is and define it objectively.
Okay, and you're saying that now all of a sudden we do have the capability.
We know that there are photons and there are quarks.
My point is to a
and
degree.
Things are made up of things that are
Right, but my point is
whatever.
that we have that ability to some degree. A degree of confidence.
What degree do we not have it to?
Whatever the degree of confidence interval, we don't fucking have it to.
Okay, so a photon is massless.
Okay, but I don't know where you are in this argument now. Photon's massless, so what are you saying?
What's the degree of confidence there? I'm pretty sure it's 100%. Speed of light, I'm pretty sure that's 100% confident on the speed of light.
Based on what? Okay, but based on what metric? Based on miles per hour?
So what if it's miles per hour? Distance is distance.
But, okay, distance is distance. Measured by what? Measured by what? A ruler? And how thick is the fucking line on the ruler that marks the 1 inch line? How many? You know how much?
The Planck length. The Planck length. Okay, that's the smallest unit of distance.
And what's smaller than a Planck length?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's
no such thing.
That's the unit of space time.
That's the unit of space.
Yeah.
Yes. Said who? Planck.
I don't know. People. Yeah. And people who are smarter than you.
And what happens when you
did
find
the
out
math.
that actually there is something smaller than a Planck length.
What are you saying? Why are you saying what happens when we
because
when?
nobody
Like it's gonna.
because nobody believed that atoms existed. They thought that they're all a bunch of fucking kooks. There's nothing smaller than a electron or whatever it was. I mean, electrons are smaller. Whatever the hell it was. I don't know what it was.
It's as if you're
It wasn't
saying
an atom.
that
It was a
everything that
it was a
happened
molecule,
hasn't
maybe.
happened.
Huh?
It's as if you're saying that everything that has happened has not happened.
No, what I'm saying is, listen.
I know your memories aren't perfect, but
Hold on, wait.
that happened.
Wait, hold on.
You know,
No. Okay, hold on.
objectively that happened.
I know. What I'm saying is, atoms. People didn't believe that atoms existed until all of a sudden they were discovered under a fucking microscope that happened to have atoms in its lens, and then people go, you can't deny it once you fucking see it with your own two eyes, and you're like, oh look, there's a fucking circle. That must be an atom. Yeah, no shit. We said it were there. You guys thought we were crazy. You said there's no such thing, and now look, there's such a thing. Here it is. There it is. Right there. So, and you can say there's no such thing as something smaller than a Planck length, but in 100 billion years, that will be almost deterministically proven to be false. It's almost inevitable that we'll prove that to be false, that we'll find something smaller.
How do you know that?
Because every other thing that's supposedly incontrovertible based on scientific evidence or whatever always gets controverted and
No, it
proven.
doesn't.
Yes, yeah, like this, like the heliocentric model. Heliocentric. The heliocentric model of like the solar system,
Jeff,
for
if
instance.
we were wrong, we wouldn't be able to have light bulbs in the refrigerator, or
No, okay, well,
or eat safe food,
Hold on.
or go to the moon.
we were wrong a million fucking times when Thomas Edison was trying to create the light bulb.
Doesn't
He could have
matter.
given up at any point and
Doesn't matter
said, "Fuck
because
it, it's impossible."
Right. He got it right.
Yeah, it takes you to get it right for one time to understand that.
Yeah, now it works.
But what I'm saying is,
So it's not going to be proven wrong. It's not going to be proven that light bulbs don't work, because they do work. It's not going to be
What
proven
if
that we
you're-
can't get to the moon.
So what if you're
It's
trying-
not possible.
Okay.
We are better at science now. We know we can't get to the moon because we went there. We know that we went there, and we're not going to not go to the moon. Not going to not be able to go to the moon. We're not going to not have gone to the moon. I win.
no, you don't win. You're just not like letting me continue one train of thought. You're like going here and there.
Stop eating my fucking almonds. Those are for these. Those are for chocolate-covered banana slices with almonds.
Chocolate covered O's.
Guess we'll just have to use some cucumbers.
Whatever, they're the same thing. So
I know.
they're plants. They're the same.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Actually, almonds are animals. They have rights.
actually, almonds are animals because they have the same letters. So, fuck you.
Dude, I hate. If I ever.
And
hear
if it's
an
enough, it's confident. The confidence interval is like it has some of the fucking letters that animals have. So they're animals too.
On another thought, on an unrelated thought, if I ever hear an animal rights activist tell me that it's murder, I'm gonna be like, those animals would not be alive if we weren't gonna eat them. You know how many cows would exist if we weren't gonna eat cows? Yeah, like
Not many.
1,000? Like 1,000 cows? I don't know. Maybe they'd go extinct. Who cares about cows? Like, conservation biologists, chickens. Like, no one gives a shit about chickens. We like the eggs, which are freaking aborted fetuses or some bullshit like that. I don't know. They're just
They're
like
not aborted.
I know they're not.
Unfertilized.
No, they're
I know, they're
unfertilized
unfertilized
eggs.
eggs,
They just
whatever.
don't work the same way.
I know, but you could get an extremist that's like, oh, can't eat eggs either.
You can always get an extremist about something.
I know, and they're wrong. Unless
they're extremists.
Unless they agree with me.
Yeah. That's why you're an extremist. Fucking asshole. No.
Because I'll say I don't know what I don't know.
You never.
I say it.
And you have to say it with that vocal inflection. That means you don't say it a lot.
I don't remember the last time I said it about something, except for the consciousness debate we had in the car right now. I said, the thing about my way of saying I don't know for that in particular, it almost sounds like I'm saying I know, because I'm like, I don't know, you guys don't know, I don't know who knows, but people have theories, and you're not gonna figure it out by yourself, and you're gonna hear these freaking thought experiments, and you're not gonna be able to solve them, and you don't know either. So people are like, how dare you say I don't know something? Because you don't, Laura.
Well, whatever though. Is this the whole thing about Laura? Because I don't give a fuck.
No, it's not about Laura.
I don't give a fuck.
Let me read to you. I Google searched is science or religion? Scientists are annoyed by these statements because they suggest that science and religion share a certain epistemological status.
Whoa. What the fuck does epistemological mean?
The context for knowledge. It is true that...
Whoa, hold on. What the fuck? Can you just... You said it like real quick. You're glossing over shit. Hold on.
Epistemology.
No, I don't care. What is that?
It's one of my Snap videos.
The theory of knowledge, especially with regard to its method, validity, and scope. Epistemology...
Wait, can I read it? Because I'm talking too fast.
Sorry.
Epistemology, the theory of knowledge. Oh, great. Especially with regard to a theory of fucking knowing things. Here we go. Especially with regard to methods, validity, and scope. You're talking about fucking philosophy, dude. Yeah, philosophy.
Read the next part. Epistemology is the...
Okay, it's a type of philosophy. The investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion.
Justified belief.
I took a whole fucking class in that shit,
From
dude.
opinion. Okay. So it is true that scientists take certain things on faith. It is also true that religious narratives might speak to human needs that scientific theories can't hope to satisfy.
What does that even mean? What did you just say?
Okay, it's also true that religious narratives might speak to human needs that scientific...
The whole thing says.
Okay, so...
There's one banana now.
No, there's not. Who says?
Epistemological fucking fuckers.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're objectively right. Yeah, okay, so science and religion are not the same philosophy, is the point.
They're not the same philosophy, but they are both philosophies.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
But
they share that.
One of them is based on nothing, and the other is based on evidence.
It says who that one's based on nothing.
Okay, what's it based on?
Not billions. Billions of documents, but a shitload of people saying the same goddamn thing.
That's not observable nowadays and not repeatable through experiment. They could have all been diluted.
Telling me that,
they could have all been diluted, and I think they were.
Hold on, dude. You're
in
saying...
the same chemical imbalanced way.
Wait a minute. Read that thing again, because I still forgot it now.
Which part? Scientists are annoyed by these statements because they suggest that science and religion share a certain epistemological status. It is true that scientists take certain things on faith. It is also true that religious narratives might speak to human needs that scientific theories can't hope to satisfy.
Okay, so what's left to discuss? I mean, you're saying it is true that scientists take certain things on faith. What the fuck do you mean? Faith is the fucking headline of religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but religion takes everything on faith.
But it doesn't matter, because... Whoa, hold on. But so... The core thing that drives religion, which is taking everything on faith, is something that scientists do. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes? What the fuck kind of objectivity is that? That's not objectivity. That's sometimes they take things on faith. That means they cave. That means they cave.
Maybe it means
their
scientists...
philosophy caves at points. And all I'm saying is it's not perfect. Saying numbers
hold
are
on.
perfect and science
It said scientists, not science. Hold on.
Okay, fine.
So maybe it's saying that some scientists... I don't know. Hold on. Is it But that's how I read things.
I'm just saying science takes things on faith too. Science takes things on faith too, because how the hell do you even start testing theories before you've come up with a hypothesis for something? You have to like just guess up a random fucking hypothesis sometimes to run a scientific experiment. Well, you know what I mean? Like where do these hypotheses come from?
Okay, so...
Like warp drive physics, Harold White and NASA. And like it's worked out on paper, but it requires more energy than the universe has.
Actually, there's no consensus.
So they were saying warp drive physics is like doesn't fucking... There's no such thing.
I know.
Are you guys going to make bananas or no?
Guess not. Oops.
Well, you don't need almonds necessarily.
Fuck your almonds.
You could just do them in chocolate. You don't...
I know. So there's no consensus among philosophers whether science can reveal, can can reveal the truth about unobservable things, whatever, and whether scientific reasoning can be justified at all. So, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Well, now I'm right because you read it on Wikipedia. Well, what if they're full of shit? All I'm saying is, you don't know. There's shit you don't know. There's shit you have to take on faith. Whether you're a scientist or not, or a subscriber of science or law, forget about it.
So does anybody want to make chocolate-covered bananas to put them in the freezer?
Is it too late?
What's too late? All we have to do is melt this.
All right, fine.
Well, I don't know if we can eat them tonight.
I know, but will it take a really long time? Is it like a huge project?
No, honestly, it'll probably be an hour by the time it's completely solidified from
Now
start
we're
to
on
finish.
chocolate-covered bananas.
I just want you to know
It's more
I won't
important.
be here.
You've actually said something right tonight.
That was an objective joke.
No.
Objectively, I joked. That was objectively funny.
I just want you to know that.
I'm just going to say.
I'm going to make some jambats, and then maybe
Sure.
Grandpa can eat it tomorrow.
Okay, well, I don't want to get jambot smell all over my chocolate bananas, so.
Oh, no? Okay, well then...
No, you can make jambot.
I just feel
honestly
bad
just
'cause
don't want to make it
this-
tonight because I feel like it's too late and I have nothing to do tomorrow.
You're going to make eggplants. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Look, this one is going bad, but if you open it up and cut it, you might be able to just cut it off.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. I'll do that.
Yeah, and then there's potatoes.
you
will
would
definitely
not-
be able to
not-
cut
You
it
could
off.
cut them
Not
up
even-
and
not
you
even
could
right.
cut
you'll
them up
definitely be able to cut it
and
off.
roast them, make them roasted in the oven.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Can you help her cook tomorrow?
Sure.
My point about this whole thing was the core of scientific reasoning has to be on has to have some basis. Has to have some basis, and whatever that basis is, it may or may not be stilted on imperfect observations or perceptions or assumptions. Maybe they are perfect, maybe they're right, but maybe they're just at the same token of how much we trust our perception and our consciousness, whatever that might be or mean. We don't know.
If everything
we
that
don't know, we don't know how
if
we are
everything that science
We know
is
what we
based
know.
off of could possibly be wrong, how could we possibly get anything
Do you
right?
have any experience with melting chocolate?
Well, they didn't have, the cavemen didn't have science, did they? Or did they just have really low-grade
Double
science?
boil, right?
Probably low grade science.
No, so what even is science then? Because this is
Want me to read the
different-
definition again?
No, but I'm saying it's in a
Can you
whole
make
different
one for a
context when
smaller
you
pot
talk
and a
about
bigger
are fish scientists?
No,
But they know
somewhat.
where to get their
Pot that
food,
we
don't
put
they?
together.
So are they scientists or not? Because they know how to, right? They know how to do a process over and over so that it works successfully. So that makes fish scientists, right?
No, I mean,
Okay,
makes them
not to a
really,
human
really weak scientists.
Right. Well, now you're talking about a gradiential scale of how much of a scientist you are. That's not very objective, is it?
Well,
I mean,
the
based on what scale? Based on
the amount
what
of
I'm saying-
complexity that you can
Okay, complexity.
observe.
And here's my theory about
Or order, the amount of order you can
Order, complexity, whatever you want.
decipher from the universe is
okay, fine.
Super low.
Yeah.
Fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
I think
I
science
just don't.
is not a religion in the same way that Christianity or religion in and of itself, or theology we'll call it, or a cosmological
Yeah, super
argument
low.
of theology, or polytheology, whatever the fuck. You know, science is not a religion in the same way as that is a religion. I'm just saying that science is the new religion.
No,
It's
it's
the
not.
accepted belief system. It used to be that
Well, it has
theology-
replaced religion, which is good.
It used to be that theology was the accepted belief system, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about like yesteryear or yestercentury or yestermillennium. I'm talking about like 100,000 years ago. You know, friggin' Homo ergo and like Homo habilis and Homo ergaster. They didn't have like fucking abacuses and like computer data and like where did you put the fucking fish? Is it in the freezer? You know, no. They had like a rock. And you hit that thing over the head real quick. Otherwise, it'll see you and you'll die because you'll fucking have no food. Hurry up. You know, like, and I don't even know how they communicated that to
So
each
what's
other.
the point of this?
Maybe
part
in
of the,
grunts. I don't know.
The lecture.
Well, I'm talking. No, my point is, what I'm saying is that they had
Professore.
something held that culture together, that hominin culture, and
Yeah, weak
according
science.
to according to anthropological
instinct.
records, that weak science was religion.
He said he was gonna want to do it tomorrow.
According to anthropological records, or theories, I should say, anthropological theories,
thought
the
we were doing
cognitive
it now.
revolution,
Are we doing it now?
understanding there were tide shifts, knowing how to harvest shellfish, according to the
How's that have to do
tides.
with religion?
It has to do. No, it doesn't have to do with religion. It has to do with a cognitive restructuring. It has to do with temporal lobe
start with that.
functions.
We can always
It
add
has to do with an awareness of time. It has to do with
We're doing all of it.
with that.
That has nothing to do with religion.
It does, because what happens is you're assigning multiple variables to one survival process, which is harvesting shellfish, because there was no other stuff to harvest. Where is if a certain strain, a certain species, a certain strain, I don't know who it was, but it was the same strain of people that they had to calculate the tides because they didn't have any other meat. That was, I don't know what it was, that was out of the ice age, and there was no woolly mammoths or whatever the hell there was, and there was no vegetables, and there was no vegetation. They were just living on shellfish and seafood type of thing. And
What does that have to do with religion?
what has to do with, at the same time as people started calculating time and calculating when to harvest shellfish based on the moon phases and the tide phases, they at the same time started burying their dead. So what the fuck is going on? Like, before that, they never buried their dead. They just leave them wherever they were. They were like, whatever, fuck that guy, he died. See you later. And then all of a sudden, they
Maybe.
start burying their dead. Well, maybe there's a maybe. Yeah, I know the Neanderthals buried their dead. My
Really?
point is, but what I'm saying is, well, they fucking ate each other first of all, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm saying about the specific hominin group, yes,
Yes.
I'm sure about that.
Yes, we
What
are.
When I'm talking about the specific hominin group, is that they started doing burials.
that?
Are they doing? They're doing burials at the same time as they're becoming aware of time and becoming aware of vegetation, when food is going to be readily available for them, calculating it. Like they're doing low-level inventory, low-level timing, low-level harvest. And low-level burials, like burial ceremonies, throwing red dye on it. Like, what the hell function does throwing red powder on a dead body?
Well, clearly
what
it helps
fucking
the,
survival
it
function
helps
does
the
that?
spirit, ascend into
clearly.
heaven.
Right. So what I'm talking
Good
about
thing they
is
knew about that and wasted all their red dye.
that might have been a neurological byproduct.
There was a scientist who
Can you hold on?
Okay.
That might have been burial ceremonies and whatnot. Might have been a neurological byproduct of, whatever, long-term potentiation in temporal lobes or restructuring of the brain. The temporal lobe
But it sounds like you're saying it's
has
because
been given
of religion. It's
has been
because they just developed religious beliefs that they started becoming smarter in all these other
no. What I'm
aspects.
saying is
Okay.
the both. Nobody knows which is because of what.
Okay.
What
Well,
I'm saying is they just happened at the same
maybe
time.
red meat.
Whatever. What? No. Well, because they were
Caused
it was
both of them.
Shellfish. Maybe it was shellfish.
Okay, whatever. Maybe omega 3s. I don't know. That's just.
Maybe it was the
that's
moon.
stupid.
Maybe every time they have to look at the moon, they have to look up and they go, "Oh, well, I wonder what that is. Must be God, because it's giving me food." Like who the hell knows? Like nobody knows. We can't talk to any of those people, and they don't even have fucking they didn't have writing.
They lost 4 ounces on the moment of death.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I don't
not,
know.
That's not science.
That's a whole thing that I don't know about. I'm just saying stuff I do know about.
He wasn't a scientist, I'm sure.
What I'm saying is science.
It's not repeatable. It's not
Accredits-
peer reviewed.
What I'm saying is science accredits
We're sorry, not repeated.
religious belief with the emergence of the human temporal lobe. A lobe that we did not have a prominence of up until we started calculating as a hominin race, and I'm not talking about Homo sapien, up until we started calculating timetables for seafood harvest, shellfish harvest. And so what does that mean? I don't fucking know, but I know that there's a coincidence. Those two things coincide for some reason, and that's been peer reviewed. Paleontologists and fucking archaeologists, they digging up shit, fucking analyzing skull structures and the angle that the foramen magnum is at to validate how evolved the hominin was, because you can tell by its skull what angle the hole that connects its spinal cord. The more forward, the more towards the back of the head the hole is, the more ape-like it is. The less advanced it was. You could just go fucking direct correlation. I mean, it's a direct indicator of how advanced the thinking. How do you know our fucking
You
spinal
just
cord's
said
already in front of us? 'Cause
you
we're
just
sitting down.
you just talked about direct correlations.
What I'm saying is,
You said that you can't make direct correlations.
what I'm saying is, science discovered.
We don't need
Like this is like it's a fucking self-recursive. It's a recursive thing. I'm talking about how
Somebody cut
science
a banana?
discovered
Yeah, someone cut a
that religion was valid in order to continue the human race. It was like
It wasn't valid. It was evolutionarily advantageous.
or maybe
That
it was,
doesn't mean it was
or maybe,
not delusional.
or maybe it was evolutionarily deterministic.
Deterministic? What do you mean?
Meaning, maybe it was had whether there were delusions or not, or whatever the hell. Maybe it was just going to happen either way, or the
I don't
species,
know.
the human species would, or the hominin race would have died out.
I don't know, but
Whatever.
you know,
We don't know.
it's okay if everyone smoked a little bit of weed and chilled out, and everyone was nice to each other, and there were no more wars. You could argue that that's evolutionarily advantageous,
And maybe it is.
but I would argue that it's less evolutionarily
Surely no way to know.
advantageous.
They don't know.
There is a way to know because
Based on what?
Because hippie cultures that are sitting around at Burning Man
Okay, what timetable?
get no shit done.
Okay, what timetable are we talking
Well,
about?
it has to be hard and
We're talking about the
doesn't
timetable
matter.
of like tomorrow.
It doesn't
somebody's
matter.
not
The
gonna invent-
the Native Americans weren't advanced at all.
Listen, what I'm saying is,
Sitting around
what I'm
drinking
saying
peyote
is,
tea.
if people got
I feel like we should have
together
more
and collaborated more because of the emergence of temporal lobes and belief in God or something, and thus rose civilizations, massive civilizations with buildings and parliaments and organized fucking military and agriculture and whatever.
Fighting for God.
Whatever the fuck they were fighting
Yep.
for. But if those deluded ambitions led us to having the access to science, then how can you discredit false notions? How can you say false notions are false and they were bullshit and whatever? Because here we are. How do you know that science is not a bunch of false notions and a bunch of deluded bullshit that's going to lead us to a more
What are you
perfect science?
talking about? I know that science isn't a bunch of deluded bullshit, but I know also know
Okay.
that religion is. And
I'm saying that science is or is not?
is not.
Right, for today's standard, for the human standard of today, is what I'm saying. Is science is not deluded
It's not
because
enough.
it helps us today.
It's not enough, but it's right. What it does say is right.
It's right now.
It will always be right.
Okay, all I'm saying is that it's not necessarily true.
I'm saying it is.
Well, yeah, okay.
And so
That's
does
your
Wikipedia. So does Wikipedia.
And Wikipedia was written by somebody who has beliefs, also, who is a direct ancestor of people who fucking believed in red smoke and shellfish.
By the definition of the philosophy of science. Facts are facts.
Whatever. My point is that
Any thoughts on how to make those bananas into chocolate bananas?
nope. My point is that
Well, so useless.
Why would people try to learn anything if it's,
because
might be wrong?
they're
If it might be wrong,
because
what's the
they're
point of learning?
deterministically driven to survive.
That's it. Because we're irrational.
That's the
We learn because
No,
we're
listen.
irrational.
Can you give me 1 second to respond to when you say why instead of just cutting me off? Say why, and then you say well. You said why, and my answer is in the philosophical arcade of evolutionary, like evolution, the philosophy of evolution, right? That's a fucking branch of science. It's a philosophy, like over here, based on the evolutionary argument, right? The evolutionary theory, Darwin, and all that shit, right? If you're not gonna procreate,
Yeah.
you need all the skills that are gonna allow you to procreate and transcend into the next species, whatever that might be, the DNA.
Yeah, as a scientific
How do you know?
fact.
It's all over here.
Right, it's a scientific fact. So what drives that? Is it the cell of DNA that's located somewhere in your genetic strand, or is it your consciousness, or is it the fact that you can smell right, or is it the fact that you have an opposable thumb? People always used to say, because the reason that we're not primitive like dogs is because we have opposable thumbs.
Part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. That's what bajillionth of it?
I don't think so. I think it's a pretty
Okay.
big part of it, but
To what degree? How big a part?
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying,
I don't know. But
talking about all this relative shit.
but maybe someone
Philosophies.
knows.
You need to study philosophy. Philosophy will give you a new
I
perspective.
subscribe to the philosophy subreddit.
I'm telling you, because you're gonna get to dead ends with every other thing you study.
What's the point of learning philosophy if everything's going to be wrong in 50 years?
Because you'll see everything in a different light,
Okay,
more informed light.
I don't agree with your everything's going to be proven wrong in 50 years thing.
I'm not saying everything. I'm saying some things that might be, abided by almost as law today are going to be. People used to think that the sun revolved around the earth. I mean, the Pope cut out Galileo's fucking eyes because Galileo was threatening the freaking word of God. And then all of a sudden we found out, well, he was wrong. But it was accepted as law. Not even pretend. Like, it was actually literally accepted as
But nowadays,
written
we're
law.
smarter than that, and it's very rigorous, and,
How much smarter?
smarter enough
And on
to
what
do,
time scale? is
smarter
what I'm
enough
saying.
to get a lot of things right. Objectively right.
And there's a whole lot that we get wrong still.
Like canned food's not going to give you botulism unless there's air in it or whatever, that it's, got a hole or whatever the hell it needs to, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I don't know
It's
about
something.
botulism, so I
I'm
can't
just saying,
respond.
I'm just saying,
Whatever.
we learned all that stuff in, did I really learn? Everything we learned. It's all for nothing? You saying it's all for nothing?
I'm not saying it's all for nothing. I'm not saying everything where life here is on
You may as well just go by the Bible because it got us here.
No, I'm not saying that either.
It can get us
I'm
further,
saying-
maybe.
I'm not saying that. I'm not making any claims. I'm not, backing up any arguments. I'm not justifying anything.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I'm entertaining the thoughts. I'm saying there are many different philosophies out there.
There are a
All of
lot
which-
of
all of
thoughts you
which
can
contend-
entertain that are
all of which
completely waste of
contend-
time.
All of which contend to be right beyond a shadow of doubt. And the one that used to win out was Christianity. Now the one that's been winning out, that's been slowly making a rise in this generation, is science. Who knows? Maybe in 100, 2,000 years from now, it'll be Scientology.
Yeah, it won't be so.
Because that's where all the money's getting poured in. Supposedly, Scientology is more money in Scientology than there is in the whole friggin' Vatican. Supposedly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So whatever. Some
Yeah, probably not.
Some article, maybe.
They're
bullshit
freaking-
articles, but
they're made of gold over there.
that's true. But
Shit gold.
maybe gold isn't worth as much as it used to be. I don't know.
Whatever. But
Maybe it's not as worth as much as Bitcoin.
I don't know. Well, Bitcoin takes up barely any space.
Just kidding. I was just joking.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
My point is, you'd we know what's right or wrong based on some guy that says something, whatever.
Well,
With some numbers and fancy
that's an
fucking
argument from authority. You're not supposed to take an argument from authority.
That's a rhetorical fallacy. That's philosophy. That's logic. That's the branch of philosophy called logic. And the reason you're not supposed to take an argument from authority is because it's a rhetorical fallacy. It's because just because your doctor says you're going to die tomorrow doesn't mean that you're going to die tomorrow.
I know.
If the doctor also
but-
has this fucking multitude of reasons and books and documentation of why that's going to really deterministically happen, like your arm's missing and you've been bleeding and to a point of no return, then you're going to die tomorrow, you're fucking going to die tomorrow. But
Well,
you know what I mean?
So the problem I have with
Catastrophic
people
thing.
saying, the problem I have with people who have a problem with argument,
I have people who have a problem with
with argument, the idea of taking an argument from authority is that if you don't have time to do all the math, or don't have the math education
Right.
level to do all the math,
Right.
maybe you don't even have the IQ, raw IQ to comprehend the
Okay,
things.
and maybe you're right.
So then you gotta just be like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna trust
You have to say, I don't know. I
know.
trust you.
I don't know, but
Faith.
yeah,
That's faith.
yeah, but I'm not gonna say. Hey, okay, I guess
That
you can't.
is direct faith.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily science. The guy
But
who
I'm just saying-
the guy who did the math is the one who
But
that's
I'm
the
saying,
scientific fact.
you cannot
Once
do
he's
math.
Jeff,
Hold on,
what
wait,
about
wait,
proofs? What about mathematical
I
proofs?
know about
I
proofs. I
can't
took
even
math.
know those are
I went to
things.
math
Those are
class.
things.
All I'm saying is, you can't do math the way Ray Kurzweil can do math.
I know.
At least not right now. So anything that Ray Kurzweil says that you
until I have
believe
neural lace
is
before him.
directly taken on faith. Directly, there is no other word for it.
Except
Trust,
for not
thing
everything.
of authority,
No,
whatever.
not everything. Unless it's graphs
Unless
have
there are
false
things
data.
that happen to coincide with shit you already know.
Yeah, or unless his graphs promote false data.
Which, how would you know?
I don't. But
Exactly.
But
And you
but
have to
someone
say,
does.
you have to be to be a responsible human being to your own self. You have to say, I don't know.
Yeah, but someone does.
Philosophically responsible.
Someone
that's
does,
all
and
I'm
it's a
saying.
waste of time to dispute. Someone who's not a social justice warrior. Like, I don't know.
It's a waste of time to dispute something that's not a
Someone who's not a social justice warrior or a neo-Nazi.
You don't know what perspectives are valid necessarily. You know, there might be some.
Yeah, I do.
There might be some social justice warriors that are saying things that actually are gonna be right until fucking 1,000 years from now. They'll still be right. And there's things that Ray Kurzweil say that might be right for until 3,000 years from now, and then maybe
10 to the
99%
100
of the
years
rest
from
of the
now.
shit all of both of those people
Till we
say will be
transcend
wrong.
time.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just anyway. That's my point. My point is,
Yeah.
you gotta at some point you gotta say the words. Okay, I don't know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And okay, I'm taking that on faith, even if it is in the arcade of science.
And there's some things that we can never know
Yeah, I know.
that are proven to be. I read recently that there was
science is school of thought.
there was a mathematical proof that a computer did in a few days that would take a human 30 years to review it's by themselves, and it proved something that a certain problem was unsolvable.
What?
A computer proved that a certain problem was unsolvable.
I don't know.
I know. I don't know how any of that works. It's cool.
I don't know how it works either.
And it was a proof
I
that
don't
would
even know
take.
how to
It
understand.
was a proof that was so long that it would take a scientist 30 years to figure it out, or a mathematician 30 years to come to that same conclusion.
That
come
would be
to
a really big waste of 30 years.
I know. It would
Wouldn't
be.
that suck?
Good thing for computers. Good thing we
Good
keep
thing
inventing
computers are telling you don't
computers
bother to
are
do
the
it.
shit.
Computers are telling you don't even bother with this science because this science is fucking gonna lead you nowhere.
Why don't you just pour it all over the place?
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to
And
make
just
it
pour a
so
bunch and
stuff.
spread it.
Wait, it's like about way too thick to be just.
I really think you should remove your jacket from the counter because I'm just.
Don't tell her to spread it. That's
Yeah, because I keep like
That's
about
what?
with my hands on it,
That's
thinking it's a
right.
dish towel. It looks like a dish towel.
You're man spreading on the train.
Wait, dude, this banana's
I hate
open.
my God.
You're fucking man.
This banana's like open and it's not.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I know.
Then close it.
I'm gonna.
I didn't know.
I don't know what a banana is. I only know what a is.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this.
Jeff, did you know that 2 billionaires, I'm going to guess Elon Musk is one of them, he can hide it,
Should we top this?
but everyone knows.
Coconut
You're not
flakes.
listening right now.
Top with coconut flakes. Are you? Is everyone okay with topping these with coconut flakes, or should we have some?
Are you guys done with this conversation, by the way?
Nope. We're going to move to a different one that's equally trippy.
Oh, I'm done.
No. Well, it's short. It's short, because we don't have much to say about it.
He's recording it for what? So you could.
Thomas. Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
I tell him the legend of
Thomas fell asleep already.
my normal dinner conversation, and
Mom, that's
believe
not
it or
how
not,
recordings
we're not
work.
at dinner right now, but yes, this is dinner conversation.
Well, it started at
Oh my
dinner.
God, isn't that pretty?
It started at dinner. This
It's
is our
still
dinner
recording.
conversation.
I think you could unrecord it now.
Nope, I'm capturing everything
recording.
because
It's
Thomas
called
wants to know, and they want to know, and so now they're gonna know
So
or not.
2 unnamed billionaires,
This is free.
and I wonder if one of them's Elon Musk.
It's not really what I was thinking.
It is. But no one knows that for sure. But it
Actually,
probably
I could
is.
put some of these-
Okay, you're still not listening.
All right, go.
2 billionaires are funding and encouraging scientists to determine whether or not we live in a computer simulation,
I know.
and if so, to break us out of it.
Okay, great. It's called Wait 90 Years.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Just
Doesn't
say you
doesn't
think
really-
worry.
I'm sure that the scientists would just come up with that conclusion if that were the answer.
Yeah, let's do that. Just put it in there.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna fit though.
Or maybe they would take 30 years someone trying to solve a problem
Yeah.
that can't be solved.
Or they'd invent quantum computers to solve it in 4 seconds. Quantum computers are the shit.
You say that like you invented them.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I say that like they have been invented, and they're underappreciated by the
Wait,
masses.
Yo, masses don't even know that they fucking exist.
I know. What the hell? They believe in quantum leaping.
The masses?
Yeah.
The way
Which doesn't is not a
Listen,
real
dude.
thing. It's not a real thing. It's like a meditation.
Most of the global population does not even know the word quantum.
I know.
What I'm fucking talking about, man. They're not like up to speed with this shit.
I know. I know. I'm so advanced. So ahead of the
No.
curve.
Yeah, right.
Or you're just crazy. Still.
That's it.
I'll accept that. I'm totally fine with people thinking I'm crazy.
Jeff, which
I'll
one
live
is
in a little
yours?
box in Japan, making money on the internet and donating it to Google. That's what I'm gonna do with
What,
it.
Mom?
Which one of these are yours? This one?
No, the other one.
Why'd you take the color off of hers?
It just because it started coming off, and then I was trying to make it look better, and then I took it all
Okay,
off.
now are we done?
She's not
Now are
gonna
we done
see
with
it
this
now. She's
conversation?
gonna be, like, not able to read the directions or anything.
I'll take a picture of the other one. I sent
Is
you.
this conversation done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.